diplomatic community.
It's just been revoked.
Yeah.
Right.
Woo!
Man,
That's how you do it.
That was like a Terminator style execution there. It's like,
I mean, it made sense. He sounded badass when he did it. I mean, that's how you kill the bad guy. That's how you do it. That's how you talk trash while doing it. That's top notch. That's 10 out of 10 for Murtaugh.
is it bad if I say that guy kind of had it coming? I don't know.
Of course he had it coming.
Had it coming.
Who more had it coming?
You know, we'll get into the diplomatic immunity situation. We're experts on the 24 diplomatic immunity. We'll see if this type of immunity is any different, but I'm looking forward to talking about that. But yeah, Murtaugh, man, he did what had to be done. Let's just call it that. So welcome back. This is the Last Row Podcast. This is episode 159 in the Summer of Sequels, Part 2 Heat Wave. I don't even remember which number of that we are on. If you are new to the show, we're in the middle of our sequels episode run. Check our website out, thelastrowpodcast.com. Follow us on X, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at The Last Row Pod. Check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. Please consider leaving us a 5-star review. And if you're on YouTube, hit that like button and make sure you subscribe on there. Welcome back, Badway. This is, I haven't seen this one in a long time.
Yeah, man. The Summer of Sequels leads us to Lethal Weapon 2. I saw this, I think, one time about 20 or 25 years ago. And I didn't barely remember a thing about it except for the diplomatic immunity. I think that's the word that people flock to when they think about this movie, right?
Yeah. I think I had this on DVD, but I didn't have 1 or 3. I just had 2. I think I just had Lethal Weapon 2.
Yeah, and on DVD, didn't have it on laser disc.
No laser disc. No laser disc, excuse me.
Gonna let that go.
Yeah, I won't edit that out.
Anyway, Lethal Weapon 1, episode 101. So check that out if you want to hear our Lethal Weapon 1 thoughts. Where I don't know, do we kind of shit on
we
Danny Glover a little bit? I think I did. Maybe you defended him, and I think I had some negative things to say about Danny Glover as an actor. But
for those that are listening, I have a playlist on YouTube called The Summer of Sequels and then The Summer of Sequels Part 2, and I'm making a playlist of every episode with the original and then the sequel, so that'll be in the playlist, and you can check it out in the show notes.
That's a teaser. Go check that out to hear what I have to say about Danny Glover on that episode. In this movie, I think he's great. Lethal Weapon 2, anyway, July 7th, 1989. Well before you and I could have seen it. Us little tykes were not running to the theater for that. Yeah.
I was watching Ghostbusters too. Well, or Ghostbusters cartoon.
Yeah, with a run hour of 1 hour, 58 minutes, us at 4 and 5 years old would not have been able to sustain the attention span of 2 hours to watch this movie.
Can I say it's slightly too high?
Can I say that if they cut out the love, not the love scene. I mean, the love scene went on for a while, but
yeah, I'm okay with that. But
a good scene, right? Yeah,
right.
But the love story that was unnecessary. But I feel like I guess you have to have one in a 1989 action movie.
Yeah, and you can't have the love scene without the love lead up. You can't just have a random. I mean, I guess you could.
Yeah,
but
this movie could have been a cool 100 hours, right? If they would have just taken out the unnecessary. But that's fine.
Slightly too high, I would say.
Action/thriller directed by Richard Donner. Now, we talked about Richard Donner briefly in Lethal Weapon 1, but just to reiterate, this guy.
Kind of a big deal. Superman 2, right?
The Omen.
The Goonies.
The Goonies.
Right?
All 3 Lethal Weapons before, did he do 4? He probably did 4. He did 4. Radio Flyer, Drew. Scrooged.
Yep.
Maverick, which is an underrated Mel Gibson movie. Assassins, my favorite movie of all time.
I guess I didn't realize the Assassins was Donner. That's interesting.
I mean, that's like, I'm not even joking. One of my favorite action movies of all time is Assassins.
Isn't that movie like 3 hours long?
It's very long. But
I was going to say we should do that.
We should break our rule and do it. I've always wanted to do it, but I feel like you like would vote it away.
No, I like that movie. I do think it's very good.
16 blocks. Yu-Gi-Oh! Hot.
You could argue that 16 Blocks is a great movie. You could argue that Richard Donner is probably the most successful director that we've done a film from. I mean, he's like Hollywood amazing, right? Like action blockbuster Hollywood guy.
Yeah, he knows how to do an action movie.
I mean, I always knew him from Superman, like the 1978 Superman, and I thought he was great. And I mean, he was a great director.
And guess what he's about to do next? Nothing. He died in 2021. Sorry, rest in peace.
Too soon? Too soon?
No, it's fine. IMDb 7.3 out of 10.
That's probably right.
About right. Yeah, that's right. Rotten Tomato 82%.
About right.
That's fair. Metacritic 70%. Yeah, 75. Letterboxd 3.6 out of 5.
I gave it a 4, and I liked it.
Yeah, 3.9. South African smugglers find themselves being hounded and harassed by Riggs and Murtaugh, two mismatched Los Angeles police officers. However, South Africans are protected by diplomatic immunity, and so the two are assigned to witness protection duty in an attempt by their captain to keep his job. It is only when this witness reveals to them that he has already dealt with the smugglers that the trouble really starts.
Not bad.
Dun, dun, dun.
It's not bad.
Not bad.
I think the idea to go with South Africans was an interesting one, but I guess in the 80s, early 90s, this is kind of a hot topic here. So,
yeah.
But only one tagline on this one, and I think it's kind of weak. So there's another one that I have like a write-in, but the first one is the first and only, according to IMDb, was "The magic is back."
Yeah, it's pretty terrible.
It doesn't have anything to do with the movie, and I don't know. It's like could have been their back. But I saw something better, and this wasn't listed as a tagline, but I'm going to do a write-in tagline. But it said the bomb in the toilet sequence, which you best believe that we'll be getting to that, was used in a teaser trailer for the movie. And the trailer ended with the toilet landing on Murtaugh's car. And then the voiceover announcer, like the movie trailer guy, goes, "They're not taking any more crap."
Yeah.
And I thought that should have been on the poster instead.
Yeah, I always search up the trailers for the movies we do, especially if it's an 80s movie. Trailers in the 80s are great.
Did you see that one?
I did see that one. But I believe there was a "this time" in there. And
this time they're not taking any more crap?
I'm a fan of the sequel going with the "this time." I believe we spoke about that briefly in the last episode with Chucky. I like a "this time."
I agree. But I'm using that as my write-in for my write-in tagline, and that's just because, we're allowed. We can make it whatever we want. This time they're not taking any more crap. Financials, I forgot what the first one did. It had like a $20-some million budget. This one had a $28 million budget, and it returned $227.9. I mean, this is like smash hit in 1989. It's
major rated R money making scheme right here.
And even that is underselling it. It's kind of like you got Leo doing some money laundering just to make the movie back, but also Academy Award nominee for Best Effects and Sound Editing. And it was up against Indiana Jones, The Last Crusade, and Black Rain, starring Michael Douglas. Yeah. It did not win. Indiana Jones and The Last Crusade won, but still, nevertheless, Academy Award nominee, Lethal Weapon 2. So I want to start this episode by talking about the history of this thing. And without going too deep into it, I think we talked about this on the first one. Shane Black was part of the screenplay writing of the first one. So they brought it back for the second one. And I thought that this was interesting because were you familiar with this before, by the way, before we talked about this a little bit?
I don't know any of the backstory.
So I didn't know this, and I want to ask you some questions. So I'll give you guys a little bit of background first, and then we'll talk about some of the questions. But I found out through some research that Warner Brothers producers, Richard Donner, they disagree with the way that the original script went. And in the original script, Shane Black had this decision to kill off Riggs. So the scene in the end when he's getting shot by Rudd or Rude, whatever you call him, they wanted to keep him alive because they wanted to continue cashing checks and making money sequels.
Of course.
And the studio and the studio wanted a lighter script. They wanted it to be more comedic. And Black's original script was really dark, bloody. It focused on Riggs' character development and the relationships. And you can kind of see some of that in this a little bit because, you can see the trauma with his wife or his former wife and all of that other stuff. There was a lot more violence. There was apparently a brutal torture scene. Leo Getz actually had a minor role as opposed to how it was written in. And then there was another scene about like a cocaine plane spraying cocaine all over Los Angeles like snow. And the ending, like we said, he gets shot, but there was some video or something where Murtaugh shot this like, goodbye video, and Murtaugh was supposed to see this thing after like a climactic battle. And do you remember the sub boss Pieter Vorstedt, like the guy with like the little boy
He called
haircut?
the guy Hitler. He called him Hitler.
The Hitler haircut guy. Yeah. So that guy, apparently he was like really, really more like menacing. I don't know. That fight was supposed to be way more brutal than it was, and it wasn't. So I guess there was a bunch of reactions and stuff, and they rewrote the script, and Shane Black left it. He didn't really get credited for a lot of the stuff. And basically they've said that Shane Black credits this to be his best work, even though it was drastic changes in the film and all that other stuff. And nobody's been able to find this original script. So it's highly sought after. Like, I can't even imagine how much this thing would go for. But like, I wanted to maybe set that up. And the question to you is, do you think it would have been better if it was darker, more brooding, and more violent than it was? Because there's a lot of like comedy mixed in with the action, but it is a little bit more slapstick in some ways than maybe the first one. I don't know if you feel that way.
I probably would have enjoyed it more. I don't know if it would have been more successful. That's for sure. They probably did the right thing money wise. Yeah, because the first one was definitely darker than this one.
Yeah,
especially dealing with Riggs's mental health and suicidal tendencies and all that. Yeah, I would have preferred it to be more serious, and obviously you want to have some jokes in there, and I'm sure there were, but no, I wanted to bust out the black cut, you guys. Let's bust it out.
Yeah, I mean, especially the way that he dies. It says that he was supposed to be like stabbed in like a final battle, and he dies slowly. It's supposed to be pretty brutal. And then there was, some rewrites or whatever, but it's interesting that they went this direction.
I don't think you want that.
No,
you don't want the beloved character to die a brutal death. Like, you think back to RoboCop, right?
Right.
And we don't even know that guy. We know he's a good guy, and he turns into RoboCop, and he dies in the most brutal fashion ever by the gang members. And that's not an enjoyable scene. Nobody wants to see that twice. Do you want to go back and watch RoboCop 1? I think I'd fast forward that scene if I were to watch it again.
It's so brutal and so undesirable that they made a NECA toy after it with his hand blowing off.
And now we're going to do that, but to Martin Riggs, a.k.a. Mel Gibson, who I don't know if he had done other family-friendly movies since then. We don't need to see him die horribly like that.
Yeah. I mean, they say it's a slow death, but
he could die, but don't have him die slow and in pain, right?
Good callback to RoboCop, because I do think that is one of the most, and I probably would do the same thing. I think the next time I watch the movie, I'm like, yeah, you know what? I probably don't need to see this part. It was like gratuitous is what it was.
But we have him die while also killing the bad guy. And then he has like a final goodbye while he's being held by Murtaugh. That's what the people want to see.
Right.
They don't want to see him bleeding out and like a limb cut off, guts hanging out, like throat slashed.
Yeah.
Pancaked by dump truck driver. Nobody wants to see that.
I agree with you. And I think, so they did shoot both endings. And I don't know, it wasn't the brutal death, but it was a death where he died and one where he lived. And they went with the one where he lived. But I mean, look, you can see the sequel potential for this. No studio is going to let you kill off the main guy, especially Mel Gibson at the height of his popularity. I mean, he was still, I guess he was still on his way up, but he was very popular at this time. And this character is very popular. Like you almost, from a financial perspective, like you can't really kill him off. And I kind of get it. And the fans don't want that either. You're right. So anyway, I just thought that was interesting because I didn't know that before until we watched this now. And I did a little bit of reading about it before we started, but I'm okay with the way that they did it. But you're right. There's definitely a big tonal shift from this one compared to the last one. The first one, especially the mental health aspects of this. The other thing that was different about this movie is they just drop you right into this. Did you find that the opening car chase was like jarring, or did you like that they did that?
I got to be honest. I thought there was something wrong with the version I was watching. I thought maybe I missed something. There wasn't even a title card or like credits or anything like that. Right? Was I wrong? Like there was no title card, right? There was nothing. So. I don't know. Do we know what movie we were watching? Like until the very end, didn't say. I thought there was something wrong with the version of the movie I was watching. No, yeah, it was jarring, but I liked it. Was original. I liked it. Yeah, just drop us in. We know who Riggs and Murtaugh are. Just drop us in.
What's the worst vehicle to have a high speed car chase in?
I think we touched on this in one of the previous episodes. Maybe it was Mummy 2, where they were driving like the double-decker bus or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I think Family Station Wagon is up there.
But aren't those things like secretly beasts? Don't they have like crazy engines in those things?
I don't know.
You have to haul the whole family.
I feel like the safety number is probably high. Right?
So if you're going to get into a car wreck, at least you're safe.
Yeah, I think it's death proof, but I don't know about speed or like the horses underneath there or anything like that. You would think that, I guess if you get high enough, like as a detective, you get to drive your own car and they just give you that a siren. And then like in Bad Boys, if you have a cool car like Mike Lowry, then that's your cop car. Your cop car is your Lamborghini or whatever the hell. But if you're, family man Murtaugh, you take the station wagon, I guess. Man,
I looked this up and I don't know why I was expecting more from this, but I just Googled this up and I don't know what car he had, but call it a Chevy Celebrity 1989, station wagon. Yeah. It's a front wheel drive automatic 3-speed gearbox. It says that it has 98 horsepower. I don't believe that. There's no way.
Is that a lot for back then? I don't know.
I don't know.
It certainly doesn't sound like a lot now.
There's no way. I mean, there's another one. There's a 5-liter V8 here with 142 horsepower.
That's not the one he was driving.
That's a Chevy Caprice.
There's no way.
A 5.0, 142 horsepower.
If we're talking 80s cars, I mean, he could have been driving a Bug. That would have been worse. He could have been driving a minivan. That'd have been worse. Like a Dodge Caravan.
Oh, my dad had one of those.
Yeah. He could have been driving, I don't know, maybe a Honda Accord might have been better. I don't know.
You know what's funny about a Dodge Caravan? You look back on that car, and at that time, it probably felt so big, but it's probably as big as like a regular compact car right now. Yeah. It probably wasn't big at all.
Yeah,
so
probably.
It's funny, but
parallel park that thing, no problem.
You're right. I mean, I agree with you. We did talk about this, but I thought it was funny. Like, and I forgot what episode we talked about this in too, but I'm pretty sure we talked about, would you rather be chasing or be chased? And how do you think you would do? Like, if you were chasing these guys, do you think you could do that in that station wagon?
No, I feel like I'd rather be the one being chased,
like running away.
Yeah. Because I think you have a much easier chance of losing someone than catching someone, right? Because if you're catching someone, you also have to be willing to ram them. Are you willing to ram someone?
It depends on how much I hate them, I guess. Yeah. If I don't like them, I guess I'll ram them. But if it's somebody that I'm just trying to, it's like car tag, then I'm not going to ram your car.
Do you ever, like, in your car, you hate someone so much that's driving in front of you, like they do a really jerk move in front of you? Like, you ever just want to ram them? Like,
I do.
You get that feeling in the back of your mind, like, I just want to ram.
I like my car too much, though. It's like if you had a beater,
if you had a beater. I remember back when I was driving my first car. It was a 1984 Dodge Omni. It was red on red, maroon on maroon.
I like
maroon
that
interior,
car.
Maroon exterior. Paid $400 for it. I regret not banging that thing around more.
Like I'm not saying
I'm gonna be bashing into people on the road.
Yeah.
But if we're in an empty parking lot, let's bash the shopping cart around. I don't know. Yeah, let's whip this thing around a little bit. Let's set up some obstacles. We never did that.
Is it worth you now? I mean, you're a successful man. You have money in the bank.
Oh,
so
sure.
Imagine you go buy a $400 Dodge Omni right now. Like, we'll go take it to the parking lot.
It was $400 in the year what was it, 2000, I suppose. Now they're probably giving it away.
Like, imagine if you just did that. I mean, I guess that's what demolition derby's for. It's funny.
Yeah,
but
I guess that, long story short, I kind of want to enter demolition derby. I guess that's what I want.
You should. You should. Yeah. I thought,
although the first hit, I'd probably have a back injury and I'll be done. I'll tap out.
They have no safety features in those cars at all. Yeah. The other thing I thought was funny about his car was, like, does he turn down a police vehicle? Like, why is he driving his wife's station wagon? Did I miss that?
No,
Did they explain it?
No, I think that when you're a certain level of detective, you bring your own car to work.
So you bring your own car.
And typically we're watching Riggs and Murtaugh on an atypical day where they're on a high speed chase, they're getting in gunfights, but on a normal day to day, they're probably driving slowly to crime scenes. They're looking at dead bodies already dead. They're not having chases. Right?
I don't know why I just assumed
so you just
that
drive your station wagon to work. You don't have to have a cruiser.
I don't know why I just assumed he should have had like the Chevy Caprice or whatever the heck it is, or the Ford Taurus, the RoboCop car.
I'm sure one is offered to him, but he probably chooses, I'll just drive my own car. They pay for his gas. For his gas.
Let's get the gas card.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny too that he continued to drive the car throughout the whole movie, and it kept getting continually more effed up. And like at one point, he had no door, and he just had the plastic in the door instead. And then it's like Leo Getz is locked in the car. It's like there's just a plastic sheet holding the.
Yeah, I think at that point, maybe take the cruiser. At that point.
Maybe they should just give him a cruiser.
But back to the car chase though. Like I've said this before on this podcast, I believe, but I feel like I could successfully win a car chase in my hometown
against the police.
I know the streets so well, and I know they know them well too. I know,
but they can control the streets.
No, let's say it's a state trooper, right? Well, I don't know where that state trooper. Maybe he's from a county, 2 counties over, right? And he's got me on the highway, and I get off the exit into my hometown, and all of a sudden I'm navigating the streets, right? I think I can get him.
You're gonna avoid the.
I think I could find a good spot to like get distance and then pull in and lose them.
You get the star rating goes down.
I'll find the spray shop. Yeah, I'll find the spray shop.
But I don't know. I don't want to say you're overconfident here, but like, is it one cop? Or are you talking about multiple cops?
Well,
here?
I'm not. If there's a chopper above, then no, I'm not going to.
Because that starts to happen, right? The longer you run, the more they call
one cop.
Okay, one cop. I could see that, I guess. If you get the right turn, you go down the right side street, and if you know the streets well enough, maybe I'll give it to you. But the second you get 2, it's over. Like
because then they start doing maneuvers and they start like
box you out,
and they're communicating through radio. Right. It's not fair.
You don't have the radio. One-on-one. One-on-one. It's like one-on-one basketball. Like, could you beat
a one-on-one
James?
matchup? Yes, a one-on-one matchup. Yeah.
Could you beat? Like, I don't know basketball well enough, but let's say could you score a goal on whatever the best goalie in hockey or something, or even just like a mid-tier goalie or something like that, right? Or who's a mid-tier basketball player?
A pitcher versus batter. It's just easy as that.
Could you get a hit off of some random pitcher? Yeah. It's kind of like I guess the same thing.
Yeah.
So
give me the force's best driver. And I'm not the greatest driver. I'm not even saying I'm a good driver.
But you'll take him?
But if it's my home turf and they don't really know the streets as well as I do, I got them. I'll use my brain, not my lead foot.
I like the idea too, by the way, that you said it in the synopsis, but this idea that they got assigned Leo Getz because they messed up so much. And like you said, this is an atypical day for them. But is this true? And you mentioned this about Bad Boys, but pretend that doesn't exist. But in the world of this, they said, all the damage that you cause is coming out of the department's budget. Like, does the department budget every year for like collateral damage to say, well, you know what, our cops are going to mess up so many things on the street. We need like a budget line item for, collateral damage and street signs getting messed up and car chases and stuff. Like, is that a thing?
So is it like every time you bang up a civilian's car during a car chase, that's like coming out of the budget too? I guess.
How do you budget for that?
Like, that's like crazy insurance though, right? It's like it's got to be insurance based. I don't know, man. Like I feel like that's taxpayer money. It's not the department's not paying it out.
No, it's taxpayer budget dollars, and so I'm paying for them to mess up. So I guess you got to look at where's Ruben Pfeffer at. You need him to look at like the risk meter.
Yeah. If you're in the hypothetical California, borough that Riggs and Murtaugh are manning, then you're probably going to want to move, right?
Right. You
just
don't
like, just like if you're in the Miami world where Mike Lowry's at and Martin Lawrence, you're probably not going to want to live there because your tech stars are getting just burned. They're getting burned.
They're bringing the bad luck here is basically what they're doing. So, but I thought that was funny. Let's talk about Riggs and Murtaugh. Where are they at since the last movie? Because in the first one, they had a pretty contentious relationship, and I think they wound up getting along by the end. But where would you put them at the beginning of this in terms of their friendship and all that other stuff?
Well, Murtaugh is Riggs is like a member of the family, right?
Yeah, it's like a roommate.
He's got his stuff there. I don't think he sleeps there, but he might as well. Maybe he does on the couch sometimes. I mean, when he gets drunk, he probably lays on the couch. He's not going to drive to the beach drunk, right? Does he? Wait, does he have a car? Does Riggs have a car?
Yeah, he has the truck. He has the truck.
That's right. He has the truck. Okay.
Yeah, he does. And he's doing laundry at their house too,
Why
which was funny.
aren't they using that for the chase?
They probably should. He doesn't want to mess that car up, man.
Oh, yeah. Riggs, yeah.
The other car's already messed up. It's like you already got it busted up.
Yeah. Would you eat Oreo chili?
I would not. I don't know. I don't think I would try it.
I'm intrigued.
You would? You would try that?
Intrigued. I mean, like Oreo's got to make everything taste better. You'd think, right?
I mean, I get maybe it adds a little sweetness to it. I guess
Yeah.
crushing Oreos into the pot, but I did think that was a little weird.
I'm not a chili guy myself, so I think Oreos would only improve it for me. But maybe a chili aficionado might not like it.
What's your perspective on doing laundry at somebody else's house? Like, is that a violation?
Like, do you have to like chip in part of the water bill?
Yeah, let me bring.
Or like,
do you have to bring
the
your
electricity
own
bill? Yeah.
Do you have to bring your own fabric soap or whatever the heck is it? Laundry detergent? What do you do? It's like a laundromat.
What if he does like one piece, right? Like he just let me throw my shirt in the dryer for 90 minutes.
Yeah, it's wrinkled.
let me jack up your electric bill.
Like, or is he obligated to put an entire load of laundry in with his shirt?
Yeah.
And then if he does, do you want his shirt to be washed with yours? Because there's all kinds of blood and crap in there.
No, and also I feel like, and this is like a thing, everyone has their own smell. It's not necessarily a bad smell, but your clothes smell different than my clothes, smell different than anyone else's clothes. And like there's a smell, and everyone has their own smell. And you don't really realize the smell until you actually get up close and personal with laundry. Right. Yeah. So I wouldn't want to mix. I would not want to mix.
No, I like the idea of him like jacking up their electric bill and all that other stuff, because it's like that's like him being the guest, right? They're eating his food, taking the beer. Just he lives there basically, but he's not paying rent, which I thought was funny. But like, do you know how packed that house was? Like, how many people was too many people in a house?
I was stressed. There was like, how many people were there? Like 9 people there?
You got the kids, the wife, I don't know how many kids does he have? At least 3, right? And then the girl's boyfriend.
3. The girl's boyfriend was there. Murtaugh was there. Riggs was there.
At one point, you're going to get Getz in the house too. It's like, and at what point is it a party? Like versus like people hanging out?
It's almost like every night is Thanksgiving dinner.
Like imagine
if I were the homeowner, I'd be if I were Mrs. Murtaugh, I mean, especially Mr. like, geez, I can't. What's his first name? What's Murtaugh's first name? Roger. Roger probably secretly under his breath like, get these motherfuckers out of here, man. He just wants to take shit in peace. That's all he wants. He can't do it when there's 9 people in the house.
Trying to take a bath. Can't do that. Yeah. They busted in for his birthday. Yeah. Can't take a dump. Got to do that.
He's too old to take a bath.
Anyway. He is too old. He's too old.
Roger.
I thought, the other thing that I thought was kind of funny, I want to talk about Riggs' house in a second, but before we get to that, the fact that the South African goons, whatever you want to call them, sneak into Murtaugh's house. So that even they were in his house at one point, and there was like at least 8 of them. So
they don't lock doors. Everyone's allowed in. Everyone's allowed in.
You get all of them, but does it make you like? Do you lose police points if you get broken in on your house, and like especially when you're sleeping in the middle of the night?
You got to be a little tighter than that. Now, as a cop, you don't want to be sleeping with one eye open, as they say. You want to have a comfortable night's sleep, sure, but you think you'd have some kind of security system,
something.
You can't just rely on the gun under the pillow, right?
Right.
That every cop, I'm sure, sleeps under. But I don't know. You just can't make enemies. They made too many enemies.
Yeah, they
Riggs
did.
And Murtaugh.
They did. What was the Seagal movie where he pulled a gun in the middle of the night? Was that Exit Wounds? Where they snuck in on the houseboat or something? Am I thinking of the wrong one?
The houseboat was Exit Wounds. Yeah.
And then he had the gun. He was like sleeping. What about Riggs' house? So he's never home outside of when he's hooking up with diplomats. What do you think of that place?
I mean, it's kind of great, right?
I thought it looked cozy as hell, man.
I mean, as far as the trailer goes, if you have a spot, to take a shower, does that thing have a shower, you think?
I think he's got the ocean as his shower, is what I thought.
Is that also his toilet?
I don't know. I didn't see a bathroom. It didn't look like one.
Is there a toilet in that thing? Like, I don't know if it's kind of a... But
maybe it's the dog hole. That's the toilet.
Yeah. But I mean, I guess you could shower in the. It's kind of dirty though, right? If you imagine showering in the ocean, well, I guess he just showers at Riggs' house or Murtaugh's house.
The I don't know if you ever get out of the ocean, but I want to shower after I get out of the ocean because the salt water.
All right, but what if you brought like a bottle of body wash?
Like in the shower
weird?
Or the water?
In the ocean water. Is that a good bath?
I feel like the salt. Maybe that's why he's got the sea salt spray for his mullet hair.
Yeah.
But I feel like the hair, your body. I don't know. I feel sticky after I get out of the ocean.
Yeah. If he didn't go over Murtaugh's house and say they had a falling out, right? And he just couldn't go over there anymore. He'd probably be doing his laundry in there. He'd be shitting in there. He'd be showering in there. Yeah. Like that would be his whole thing. He'd just smell like the ocean, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. But you know the way your skin feels when you get out of the ocean? Yeah, he would have sticky skin his entire life. And I feel like that would haunt him.
Not sticky in the way that you have like I don't know, like candy or something that gets on your hands or something. It's like it's a weird sticky.
I don't know. It's like a thickness. It's like a film.
Yes, there's a film. It's a saltwater film on your body.
For someone that's already suicidal, I mean, you don't need that kind of stress on your skin.
You don't
need it.
I was wondering, is he even allowed to live there? That was the other thing that you asked me before.
Yeah, really. Is he allowed to just post up there? I know he's a cop, and like, who's going to police the police, right? He'll just tell whatever beach patrol to get lost, right? But I guess if you have Murtaugh to shower and do laundry,
it's a pretty sweet place.
It's a pretty nice place. But it is a pain to have to go to someone's house to take a shower.
Did you feel like the house was a little too close to the water? Like I know you got beachfront property, but that thing looked like a high tide comes in and that thing's getting washed away.
He probably did a little trial and error, found out the hard way a few times until he finally he finally realized, okay, I got to sit back here a little bit.
I just feel like it was dangerously close to the water. Like you get a bad storm, you get anything in there, and that thing is getting washed away. I thought that was kind of funny.
I don't know how do hurricanes come through the West Coast very often?
Not California.
I don't think so.
You get a tsunami or something.
Tsunamis, but that's like less often. It's like there isn't like tsunami season for California. Is there like there is hurricane season on the East Coast?
It's more an earthquake, right? An earthquake's going to happen. There's no like tsunami season.
Right, but I feel like it's like less likely to have an event that will wash away his trailer.
Yeah, I guess if there's like some kind of typhoon, tsunami situation, but you're right. But it could be a high tide or a bad storm or something, I guess.
I think he's experimented with the highest of tides, I bet. Lost a little, had a little bit of damage, lost some property, found out the hard way. He's like, okay, I get it. And then, okay.
I thought that place was cool. Like he had his bed on like a pedestal, right? I don't know what that was. It was like you walk up to it.
It's like he had like a tiny home.
It was cool. I liked the place. It looked cozy as hell. He had a TV, he had beer, he had a fridge. Yeah. I like that place. Looked like an Airbnb. You get a tiny home rental, like you said.
Yeah,
go like
probably
cozy
charge somebody $2,500 a night.
Yeah, exactly. Before we move on from Murtaugh's family, got to talk about the daughter and her acting career. I mean, did that make you feel? Did you feel bad for him at all? A little bit?
No, he's got to let it go, man.
Should she have told him what it was?
Yes, it should not have been surprised. She should have shot it first and then told him. She should have warned him, not told him / asked permission. That's not necessary. But she should have warned him before it aired. Hey, listen, this is this.
You sure you want to watch this, Dad?
Sure you want to watch this? But like, it was nothing bad.
No, right? It wasn't.
What's going to be bad is in 2-3 years when she's on the Skinamaxes. That's going to be a problem.
Is that where that leads to? It might be, but it's funny because
how good of an actress she is.
They made like a big event out of it, and I feel like that was the issue there, where they made an event out of like, oh, my daughter, is she going to watch this? And I mean, the best part was how everybody was ragging on him about it, and they made like that tree and everything. But my favorite one was Joe Pesci just saying, "Oh, the girl is so hot.
Look at this commercial. She's so hot. Come on."
It's ridiculous.
Makes me want to buy rubbers.
He wanted to kill him, but I thought you're right. Like she probably should have told him, and that's about it. But like I have no issue with somebody being in that kind of commercial. I mean, somebody's got to do it, right? I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, if she would have warned him, then he would not have told his entire office to watch here 8 o'clock on Channel 8.
It's just like he got is what he got.
Yeah.
Like there's no issue with her being in
it. A part of me thinks that Riggs knew.
Yeah, he might have, and he did it on purpose.
Because that's why he was like announcing to the precinct, "Hey, everybody," I think he knew.
He probably because he's very close with the family. It seemed like everybody knew but Murtaugh, and that's the thing. Like he was very dumb about it, and even the family was like, "What? What's the big deal?" They didn't seem to care about the whole thing, and I thought that was kind of funny. But and especially with the neighbor, the boyfriend kind of being over, that was great too, which I really liked.
Yeah.
You mentioned Leo Getz and Joe Pesci. It's the triumphant return of all these guys, but specifically Joe Pesci, since Home Alone 2 would probably be the last Joe Pesci movie that we did.
Sure. Yeah.
I feel like we just got to take a minute. And I know we didn't even do the last row awards for last year. We just kind of skipped over that, didn't we?
We're on hiatus.
But if we do the awards this time, I feel like you got to give Joe Pesci that guy nomination nod,
sure.
Right? I mean, isn't
Absolutely.
he's fantastic in this, I think.
Okay. Listen. Yeah, I thought he was. And I guess sometimes you need that. You got to put a third wheel in there to spice up the Riggs-Murtaugh relationship.
Yeah.
Right?
I agree. What did
perfect.
What'd you think of him as casting? Because I saw, maybe again, Tales from IMDb, but apparently Joe, I never could say this guy's name right. Pantoliano? Is that how you say it?
Pantoliano, I believe.
Joe Pantoliano was apparently the first choice. He turned it down because he was in Lady of the Finest. And then apparently Danny DeVito was considered for the role, which would have been just not right at all.
I feel like that's fake. I believe Pantoliano because the character fits.
Yeah.
I feel like Danny DeVito and Joe Pesci get mashed together in every role.
Right.
It's like, oh, if we can't get DeVito, let's get Joe Pesci because they're both smaller, balding, weird-looking guys, lack of a better term. But they're completely different character actors, right?
Yeah, I agree. And I feel like Pesci in this one, like if you told me Joe Pantoliano was in this, I could have seen it in this movie. But in the third one and beyond, I think you need Pesci because I don't think Pantoliano has the comedic chops that Pesci does. And I think Pesci was great. But I just thought it was kind of funny, like some of the hijinks that they got into with him and the fact that he was laundering money. Like, I don't know, would you go to him to help you launder money?
Yeah.
Do you think he does a good job?
He is what we call in the biz a sleazebag.
Is that a scumbag?
He's not a scumbag, no, because he seems like a nice enough guy in a personal stance, right? He's a sleazebag, right? He's a hustler. You have to trust him that he's going to do good work by you, and it seems like he does. Even though it's nefarious work, he's going to get the job done. And 2%, not bad.
Yeah, what is rate. That? Didn't he say he laundered like $500 million or something? Is that what it was?
$500 million at 2%. I mean, that's a good price for him and for the customer.
He had the situation down to a science to the point where he was even advising them to take interest payments on or deducting the interest off of the payments for taxes they weren't even paying.
They weren't even paying, because it's a fake it's a fake loan. Yeah.
I wonder how many people tried to do what he did after they read the script of this or saw this movie. They're like, "Oh, it's easy. We can just do that.
Easy.
It's no problem."
You get audited, and then they'll blame the movies. Yeah, let me ask you a question. So Riggs and Murtaugh were tasked with shadowing this Leo Getz guy, and it's not really their gig, right? They're used to, boots on the streets, car chases, all that good stuff. Almost like a punishment for doing damage at the city, right? So they don't care if this guy lives or dies, really. I mean, he's a star witness. They're not trying to win this case in the courtroom, Drew. They're gonna find this guy and kill him. It's as easy as that. So this guy Leo Getz is a whatever to him, but in protecting him, they fall out. Riggs falls out of the window with the assassin. Silly stuff, right? Into the pool. Drew, there's glass in that pool. I can't. The pool is ruined. It's a nice hotel. You gotta drain that pool. You know how much work that is?
It's shut down for life. I mean,
I hate it.
You get a Band-Aid in the pool, or you get a kid take a poo in the pool in high school. Like, I told that story on the show before.
You can't have you can't have shards of glass in the pool, Drew.
Or shorts of others in there.
You can't have sharts in the pool either.
Maybe I'll spare the listeners that one for the people who I don't remember what episode that was, but I'm pretty sure we talked about that. We did not want to some people
Yeah.
did not want to swim in high school. That's all I'll say. So
Let's not
there's
go down that road.
other things that entered the pool. But no, you're right. That pool was donezo. Big time.
But and also about the pool. So Riggs goes down, right? And the bad guy is chased away and he gets away. You know, they're falling in the pool 10 stories high, whatever. Does Murtaugh fail the partner test and the friendship test by not jumping out the window into the pool after them? Because he took the steps and it took him like 10 minutes to get down there.
I'll say, they could be dead for all he knows. So if he jumps, then they're dead and he dies too. I think you gotta assume that what he should have done was try to shoot that guy out the window. But I guess he sucks at policing that he couldn't get him.
I mean, he doesn't have a clean shot. You don't want to accidentally shoot your partner.
Yeah, but I mean,
he'd never live it down.
Oh, that's
I feel
true.
like if he shot Riggs by accident, the ridicule would be worse than actually like the act of him shooting him.
Yeah, I
Riggs
agree
would just
with
never
you.
let him live it down.
I agree with you. I just feel like I don't know that they're just not very good cops. Can I say that? And I feel like I agree with you. I don't think he should have. No, I don't think he should have jumped. I don't think he should have. I think
they're great vigilantes, Drew. They're not very good cops, are they?
Yeah, the second that Riggs puts that black hat on, that's when he went full on like vigilante mode. This is like Batman Cal.
It's the look in his eyes.
Exactly. But I mean, they lost Getz like 10 minutes into the protection thing. And I get what your point. Yeah. You said they don't want to win. They were not trying to win the courtroom, but he's actually part of this case. I thought that they said that he was part of this case, but maybe they didn't know.
They knew. They just didn't care.
But see, that's bad cops.
But witness to them, this is not making it to the trial, the courtroom.
I'll just say this. Like, they're on point. They already got punished for being bad cops and effing up the city so bad to the point where they got to do this. And now they fail this. This is like, I'm taking your badge away territory. You get the star witness in a trial. I mean, the FBI is probably involved in this crap.
You think Riggs cares?
He doesn't, but that's why I think that they're bad cops. And I need to go down like a list of violations here, like a bunch of things. And there's a couple things to talk about real quick, but like they're constantly getting him into danger. They don't care about that. They lost him 10 minutes into protection. They lose track of him all the time. Like they are bad. They're just really bad. I'm going to come back to this, but I want to come back to Riggs single-handedly trying to end apartheid for like, South Africa by sneaking into the embassy. Let's come back to that in a second. Yeah. But at one point, Murtaugh gets in the car, and they knew that the guys were after him. It's like, I'll wait in the car. I'll be right back. And it's like in the middle of the night.
It just takes one guy to like knock on the window. Boom, shoot him.
They didn't even need to knock on the door. There's no door on the car. Remember?
Yeah.
The guy just all he has to reach through
the window is a plastic bag.
He goes through the tarp. Like all he has to do is reach through the damn tarp, and then he's good. And then then Riggs. Excuse me, I'm mixing them all up. Riggs is hooking up with the girl, which come back to that in a second. He doesn't see the helicopters coming until the last second. They get stuck inside the shipping container because they're not even paying attention. And then again, he gets shot by Rudd because he's not even paying attention. Like he's standing in the middle of an open space, and what's his name? Hans from you called it out. Thank you for that. The Mighty Ducks or whatever. Yep. Return of him too. He shoots the guy. But let's talk about Riggs walking to the embassy. Like, at what point does this become an international incident? You heard the diplomatic immunity. Like he strolls in, like I'm talking Jack Bauer style, and just sneaks into. I think it was the embassy, right? That's what that was. If I'm not mistaking it.
Yeah, it was, and it's kind of like if you rob a drug dealer, would they call the cops on you?
I mean, I guess they can't, but
they can't. This guy is doing such illegal shit that he is kind of tied in that he can't rat out Riggs for doing bad police work because it would then implicate his crimes. Even though he has immunity, at a certain point, drug trafficking and money laundering and police murdering is not going to fly in both America and the government of South Africa.
So, but you mean to tell me that they're not gonna, like, the government isn't gonna be like, hey, this nobody police officer, they want to avoid an international incident. And are they really going to be investigating the laundering of money and drugs?
It's not an incident if this guy is doing I don't know, supervillain work. You know, at a certain point, At a certain point, it's an embarrassment to South Africa, and they would be on the side of, all right, you're allowed to arrest this guy.
He shot their fish tank. That was a nice fish tank. That's an international incident by itself.
It was a psycho move for sure.
It's ridiculous. I'm with you, by the way. I'm just playing devil's advocate. I actually agree with you. You're right. You can't put the light on the cockroach, and that's what they're doing. They're putting the light on the cockroach.
That's why they have to kill him. Because they can't rat on him because it would implicate themselves and they would get in trouble with their own government.
It's kind of like they have to put a bomb on somebody's toilet.
Yes,
to try to get away.
That's the only way. It's the only way.
Can we talk about this, please? Can we just talk about the bomb on the toilet? I mean, this is the type of reason why we have a podcast to talk about bombs on a toilet. But
sure,
how bad did you feel for him?
So when you're on the toilet and it's about 20 minutes, you know, sometimes time runs away from you and it's 20 minutes later and then your foot starts to fall asleep and then your leg falls asleep. He was on that toilet for 16 hours, he said. How long could you possibly sit there?
I think by the end of it, they said he was 18 to 20. He was 16 before he got found.
Yeah.
And like,
how what's the world record? Like how long did he flush the whole time? I would be afraid to flush. What if flushing triggers the bomb? Flushing might trigger it.
He can't wipe either, so he's going to be in rough shape. Man, I don't even want to go into that. That's just I shouldn't even mention that. But I feel like I think I'd rather the bomb explode than somebody find me on the toilet like that. I think I would. I don't know.
Oh, man.
I don't know. That's like all-time embarrassment. I mean, that's talking, there's something about Mary situation where they're zipping you out and your Jones hanging out.
I mean, there was the great cut to every single emergency squad member in the entire city is on his front lawn. He's got 50 people in his house again. They're all looking in, checking in on him.
But did you feel that in a bomb situation, they try to limit the amount of people?
Yeah.
Like they had the psychiatrist in there.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, we'll just freeze this thing. I mean, obviously it's for comedic effect, but
I guess as long as he's sitting there, everybody's safe.
Yeah, but I mean, he's sitting there for 20 hours. He might fall over.
What if he falls over? Yeah, what if he falls over? You got to tie him in there or something, right?
Yeah, they should have tied him up.
tie him to the sink or something.
That's more torture. That's like sadomasochistic, like tie yourself to the toilet, in my opinion. Yeah. And man, like not only could you imagine he'd have like the indent of the seat on his legs when he gets up. Like
all right.
I just don't know how he survived.
Let's say that they couldn't freeze the bomb. So they freeze the bomb, it gives him like a 1 or 2 second head start, and he's able to get away from the blast into the tub, right? Let's say they couldn't do that, right? And there's going to be like, oh, we can't defuse this bomb. I don't know. We got to figure it out. How long can he sit there, like before he starts to lose weight, and then the weight gets lower, and then it explodes, right? Because I guess it's probably like a weight distribution thing.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was going to say. What's the technology underneath this bomb? Yeah. Like, what is it? Is it the seat? Is it the weight?
Like a Hans Gruber thing, where it's like a scale, right? So he's going to have to start eating meals on that toilet, Drew.
I was just gonna say that you got me
with the turds floating just inches below him. He's got to be eating meals on that toilet.
Cereal. It's your kryptonite.
Weight.
I was just I knew you got it, man. Where the mind meld. Yep. Oh man, that's why this podcast.
Yep,
this is the highlight of my week, man.
It's just a really problematic situation. I don't.
It was breakfast time too. They got to give him some cereal or something.
He was there all night.
They got to give him some Oreo chili, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. He didn't even drink any water. Like, imagine that. Or is there like a laser that looks for something dropping into the toilet? Is that what's there?
Yeah.
It's like what? What is the technology?
He took his evening shit. Did he double down into the morning shit?
He gotta go again.
Or he didn't have his coffee yet. So
yeah. Yeah, imagine if they did that. But did you see the technology? Speaking about bomb defusal, they're talking about like, oh, we gave you a bomb blanket. What the hell is a bomb blanket? Like they like, oh, just jump into the tub. It's a lead line tub. Like, are you kidding me? Like, I got the impression this is one of those things from not True Lies, Last Action Hero, where the guy blows up and he's got the black hair with the char on his face and everything.
Yeah.
Like it's a cartoon style.
Yeah,
He
it's like a
just
Bugs
blew up?
Bunny, like a Bugs Bunny.
That's
type
what it
thing
really
where-
looked like
yeah,
to me.
yeah.
Man, I'll tell you what. Could you sit there for that long? You'd fall over. I would.
I
There's
feel
no
like you
way.
fall over. Yeah,
There's no way to me. And honestly, I'd rather. I think I'd rather go out with the bomb. I don't. Those guys are coming in. You get the dirty butt. It's no way.
how did Riggs find out?
He came into the house because
He didn't call him, right? Because obviously there's no cell phones, right? Okay, so he couldn't.
No,
call
he
him.
came to the house. He didn't show up or something, right?
Yeah.
He didn't show up, so he went to the house, and
Okay,
all the stuff
yeah.
was open, and it was nefarious. So he was roaming the house with the gun,
Yeah, with the gun open. Yeah, that's right.
and he gets
Okay.
into it, and he sees him, and when he finds out it's a bomb, like what's more demoralizing? The message on the toilet paper, like that.
Yeah.
That's even worse to me. The guy wrote
Yeah.
on the toilet paper.
And these guys, they play around too much. By the way,
Yeah, they
if
should
they
just
if they
killed him.
if they didn't mess around with the toilet paper, he would have just exploded because he would have done his business and gotten up.
Yeah, I mean,
You know?
they kind of want him to know.
They play, but what's the point of knowing?
I guess they assumed that you couldn't sit there for
Yeah.
18 to 20 hours on a toilet and he was going to fall over. That was their bet.
That's like
They thought
torture,
either
though, or
this
like-
guy's legs.
Or they dumped Riggs into the river with a straight jacket. It's like
Yeah,
just shoot him.
yeah. But
What are we
I mean,
doing
that's
here?
what these are, right?
Yeah.
They knew that. They figured, like, you know what? I'm gonna write on this toilet
Yeah.
paper. This guy's leg's gonna fall asleep after 20 minutes. He's gonna get up, or maybe he'll shift the wrong way and he'll fall off, and then it'll blow up. And I agree with you. But they should have done it. They should have killed Murtaugh the day they broke into his house and tied him up with his wife. They should have
Yeah.
killed him right then and there. But I guess
Yep.
they didn't want to.
At that point, murder wasn't necessary yet. At that point,
Correct. They were trying to intimidate, I guess.
they
'Cause
didn't
they just
know
wanted
that
the drugs.
Yeah, they didn't know you can't intimidate him.
Let's talk about the girl because I want to talk about her name is Rika, and I think Rika Vanden Haas. She was from the Netherlands or somewhere in that part of the world, and she was
Yeah.
working at the embassy. And Riggs and Rika have this relationship. We talked about the love scene and all this other stuff.
Yeah,
I haven't seen this in a while, and I don't know. The first time you watched this, did you get the impression that maybe she was in on it too? And was she bad, or did you always
No.
know like she was?
I never
innocent?
thought. I just thought she was doing her job.
And I thought, one of the other things that they changed from the original script was that she wasn't supposed to die, and they did actually kill her in this, and it was brutal. And her floating in the water was pretty bad. But
Yeah, sure.
did you think that Riggs came on a little too strong to her? And do you think it was appropriate?
Well, in the grocery store, you can't do that now.
No,
In 2024, you can't
I mean, that was an assault.
just grab. You
situation there.
can't grab her arm and grab her basket and just demand a date. Can't
And
do
then
that.
dump her stuff out.
Yeah,
Thought that
can't do
was a
that.
little,
Yeah.
Mel Gibson there. If I
She said no. She said no about 20 times until he kind of intimidated her into saying yes.
Yeah, I don't know. And then they hooked up that night, which was
Yeah,
I don't know. It was like a parody sex scene to me when I think about
Yeah.
it. Like it was very, very funny to me. And
Yep.
I thought it was funny too. There was a quote that the actress said where she said when she had a strip for the scene, Mel Gibson was allowed to keep some things to himself. She said when we did a love scene, I was buck naked, but he had a modesty pouch. So I didn't see it and I didn't look, but he was a great
Yeah.
kisser.
she was young too.
She
I think
was.
She was like 21.
It's creepy. I think it was creepy
Yeah.
because he's what?
Yeah.
I mean, we said this in the last episode. He's perpetually 39 or 50 or something.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just thought it was weird with the hookup there. And I don't know. Did you think that the love scene was necessary? I feel like you need one in these types of movies in the 1989.
Well, yeah. If they're gonna do the relationship and they're gonna take the 20 minutes to build the relationship and then have the love scene,
gotta pay it off.
you got to pay it off, and you might as well. I mean, you got the saxophone player. He's there for a reason. You got to use him.
I didn't think there was enough sax in this.
Yeah, enough sex, not enough sax.
Yeah, not enough sax.
Right. They used a lot of electric guitar.
They
You
did.
know, they put in more electric guitar and less sax. But my problem was he just went on a marathon lovemaking session, and then he had to avoid a shootout and then survive a shootout.
Disastrous.
Like he's got to be out of gas, right? Imagine having to avoid all those bullets after a marathon lovemaking session, Drew.
How many times did they hook up? Was it at least 4, right? Because she said the
She
fourth
said
inning or
fourth
something.
inning. He said 7th inning stretch, and she goes, "But we're only in the 4th inning."
So does that
So-
mean that it's a top and
I don't know if
bottom inning?
I don't know if it's literal 3 times, 4 times. but I think she's saying I got more in the tank than you do, bud.
I don't know if this is getting into it too much, but like, what constitutes the top and the bottom of the inning?
Yeah.
Like, do you need to complete
who's
both,
batting?
both
who's batting?
at-bats? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like your turn then my turn 4 times. I mean, is that really more like 8 times? Like, I don't really get it.
I'm not even sure if that's like biologically possible to go 18 times in a night. Like 2 completion. But, yeah.
We're gonna earn the parental advisory on this one.
But if she bats bottom and she's winning, then they don't have to go.
Well, that's
bottom of the ninth. So it could be 17. Yeah,
it's up to 17,
yeah,
unless you're Little
17.
League rules, right? Because then what is it?
Yeah.
They did the 7th, the mercy rule.
Then 7th inning. There could be a 10-run rule. Yeah. Yep,
maybe there's a mercy rule on this one. I don't know. We'll have to see. But I just thought it was funny. Anyway, she dies, and then Riggs goes on this like.
Anyway, she dies.
She dies.
She had no reason to be in the movie because like she was not integral to the plot at all. She was not integral. She was like oh, by the way, I'm here because I work for the place. Then Riggs hits on her. Then he gets her to his place, and then they have sex for 8 hours. And
I think
then
it's like to humanize him, which it's a plot device, right? Which is,
I suppose,
I think that's like a very 80s thing to do. And I'm not saying it's the right thing to do.
He let his guard down again, and then his partner died again.
Because that's how you also find out about how his wife actually died, because it was Arjun Rudd or Rude, whatever the hell you say his name, because he basically reveals like, oh, we did it, or the guy, his henchman did it, or whatever, the sub boss. But it does put him in that rage, and then he has to put that black baseball cap on, and then it's on. It's his Batman outfit, and he just goes to that mountain assault to save Leo, which I was kind of upset that that was the end of Joe Pesci in the movie. Like that was it. I wish he was in it more. But it just reminded me of like when Guile just decides he's going to unilaterally invade a country, like in Shadowloo. Like, I'm just going to take geopolitics into my own hands here, and I'm just going to go invade this consulate or whatever the hell it was.
Well, he said, I'm not going in as a cop. And then Murtaugh puts his badge in the drawer.
You're
Symbolically,
still a cop. I mean, come on, man.
But like it's a symbolic thing of, all right, I'm gonna break the law here now.
I'm off duty, so I'm gonna go do this as a civilian. Like you're still a police officer, whether you did it or not. You're supposed to have a moral code, but
it's symbolic.
I don't know. Where's internal affairs like patrolling around? You know, in their patrol cars, the internal affairs patrol car. That's what they need. So I don't know. We gotta. I don't know. Should we talk about I mean, we didn't even mention the house falling off the cliff. I forgot about that, right?
Yeah, but I just want to say that I would be terrified to live in a place like that, where my house is being supported off of a cliff by just a couple of beams.
It's like a Frank Lloyd Wright house or whatever they call it.
And all it takes is one enemy to get their pickup truck and yank them out from underneath me. Now, I know that's not likely to happen, but I don't know. What if like there's a bad storm or the structural integrity isn't great? The builders screwed it up somehow.
Yeah,
I would not feel comfortable sleeping knowing that at any point I could be sliding down a cliff in the middle of the night.
There's mudslides there too. You know, they have those there in California. That's the thing. That's especially where that house was. I mean, it looked like a sweet house, but.
Of course.
Did they pay for that place, or was it like given by the government? Is that an American place? Because they kept saying it was South African soil, and it wasn't the embassy.
I don't know. Maybe they are able to temporarily claim that spot as their domicile. I don't know.
Okay, that's fair.
Maybe it's worked out through the government that this is your spot for the time of June 6th to July 17th, whatever the dates are. Probably worked out.
We got to talk about Arjun Rudd. I personally just don't think this guy is very good, but maybe we got to let the scale define it for us. I don't know. So if you guys are new to the show, we have a villain scale, 4 major categories, 1 through 5. We'll go through these and we'll see where he scales out. But I don't know how you feel about this guy.
It's always hard for me to judge these guys if they're not physically imposing. To me, this is an old guy in a bad suit. Now he's got a nefarious plan, and he's acting like a little kid. Like, you can't touch me. I'm on base. It's like you're playing tag with somebody, and like they're on base, and they're like antagonizing you. That's what this guy's whole thing is.
It's bitch balls. I hate to
Yeah.
use that word, but it's very
Yeah.
bitch. Like he was being a bitch
yeah.
about it.
I can do everything I want because I have this badge, you know? So I guess accessories are his badge. His badge is the accessories.
Well, yeah. So the first category is his liquor style. So he's got his badge is definitely one of them. Does it help or hurt the fact that he's Hans from Mighty Ducks, as you so well pointed out, as well as the bad guy from Bill and Ted?
Yeah, it helps because it's like a heel turn, you know, and it's kind of shocking to me. So I don't know. I think it's worth half a point or something. Weaponry, they've got helicopters, they got choppers, they got some great submachine guns. I don't care much for his suit, his actual style.
Suit is not very good. It's just like a
He's
regular.
He's like an older gentleman that, you know, probably in his 60s or early 70s. That to me, he's not very fashion forward.
I just don't like this guy.
I'm going like 2.
I don't think you can go much higher than that because I don't feel he's just a regular dude, but maybe that works to his advantage. That's why we can't give him a 1 because he's unassuming and he's gonna be able to get away with it.
It's the max I can. That's like me doing him a favor is giving him a 2.
What do you think about what do you think about his like accent too? We didn't really talk about that, but it's like
it annoyed me because he was talking like in whispers.
I want to take a point away from that.
I understood him. I understood him if I could hear him, but he was whispering the whole time, and not in a menacing way.
I was watching without subtitles because the version I had did not have them available, and I don't normally watch them, but this is the kind of movie where I might have actually turned it on because I couldn't understand what the hell he was talking about, and I'm used to we watched what's the movies. Like the movies where they are filmed in Johannesburg or whatever, and they have a thick accent, so it's not like I couldn't understand him, but he was whispering and the accent on top of it was very hard for me to understand what the hell this guy was talking about, and I just could not hear him. So I think that's got to be worth not much, but I think we need to go 2 on this. Like, there's not much to say about his liquor style. Like, I think he could have had a ponytail. I'm always a ponytail fan, but they didn't give it to him, so I think that's about that. What about his hideout and his lair? You touched on the house a little bit. I'm assuming that was his place. Like, what about his accommodations?
Here's where he shines because he has 3 places, and I guess you at least get 1 point for each place because very rarely do you have 3 places.
Yep.
He's got the embassy and the blue room, which
that was
tacky.
That was like the upstairs of a club.
Yeah, kind of tacky. It's like all blue. I kind of don't like it, but it's there and it's kind of cool.
The blue room.
You've got the house on the hill, as we said. The cliff, the sweet condo, and then he's got the ship. With the cargo ship.
I like this ship. Yeah,
we're starting at a 3. I think he's going to get a 5 because of the swanky house, right?
I kind of like this as a 5. Like, I'm trying to think of other 5s that we've given for a hideout.
It's all he's got. Probably
there's not a lot. I mean, okay.
Basic Instinct.
So do this.
Basic Instinct probably. Probably.
It was. Trammell,
Bison.
Vigo in the painting.
Vigo.
So.
And Bison.
Yeah. I think we gave Hugo Snyder a 5 as well. I'm trying to think of Volcano for Dante's Peak. Which is so ridiculous. I'm trying to think. Let me see if I can find M. Bison here in our list. I keep saying I'll publish this and then I never do. But I'm
sure he got a 5.
Somehow we did not give him a 5. We gave him a 3.75. I got to go back and listen to how the hell he did not get a 5.
I'm not sure. I don't know how that happened.
I don't remember.
I guess because the set was bad, but he had the one room.
Why
he had the one room. Right. The one room was really nice.
Yeah, but we should have given him the island. I guess that's he had his whole sovereign.
But it was
island.
a bad set. It was a crappy. It was like a high school production set.
I think that's why
that's why we dock points. Yeah, we're fair.
But I agree with you. Like, this guy's got to be. I'm saying 4 or 5. I'll let you make the executive decision. But 3 places 5. And the ship, they'd have gotten away with it, right?
Yeah.
So, all right, let's go 5. So we'll go with a 5. So, all right. So what about, I still don't understand his plan. I really don't get it. You have to help me with this.
The best I understand is that they're taking drugs from South Africa, where they're from.
But why?
To the United States in exchange for clean money. And I guess that's it. It's just a money making, a drug dealing operation. Yeah. But Leo didn't know what was going on. He's just helping them clean the money. I think that's kind of what it was.
But I didn't really get like what their end game was. Like I didn't really understand. So he was just using his position of power to do whatever he wanted. But like, how far does diplomatic immunity actually go? Like could you just do whatever you want until they find you?
Well, like I said earlier, I feel like there's a line, and when it gets to murder and murder of police officers in the United States, I feel like your own country will abandon you and say, "Listen, arrest this guy. This guy's clearly a murdering maniac, and he doesn't represent our values in South Africa."
If he walks into a convenience store and wants to get a burrito and he steals it and he says, "I'm a diplomat from South Africa,"
then he probably gets away with it.
And it's like, all right, well,
that he can get away with.
You know, what does he say? You can't. Now that you know,
he might even be able to shoot the clerk.
That's what I was going to say. That was the next step, right?
But as soon as you start shooting more, murder? I hate to say more important people, but like, you know what I mean? Like more important people, like to the government.
Yeah,
you know
I know what you mean. Yeah. But I don't know, man. I guess it is. It's more about the relations between the countries than the actual crime because I mean, I guess I get it because then you won't have people just sort of illegally detaining diplomats. So it comes from a good place. But maybe Arjun Rudd was the first person that strained this. You know, it's kind of like you don't know of all the things.
And it's like it takes one person to mess it up for everyone.
Bring the house down.
He messed it up for everyone in the future that wants to get diplomatic immunity going in the United States. There's going to be like a whole new set of rules drafted up before they allow this to happen again.
What about how, like, I don't know if this is part of his plan too, but the way he just cleaned out the entire police force from LA, like he had some,
that's what I'm saying.
The henchmen, I don't know.
But like, this is when the plan goes upside down. So Riggs and Murtaugh already thwarted his plan, and now he's just in damage completion mode, where he's throwing away the plan and surviving.
Yeah.
His best kill was the diving board flop kill. That lady went, I mean, she did some flips. I hate to say it was funny, but it was funny.
It was kind of funny. I mean, I was just watching the Olympics. So it's like you watch the Olympics and people doing crazy dives. Like she got a little bit ups on that. Like it's like, do you think it was he didn't have the respect to put the house bomb for her? Like how did he know she was going to be swimming?
Yeah, I guess like if you have a pool like that, it's like, I guess she's going to go swimming. But
what if her husband went swimming instead?
Hey, man, if he dies, he dies. Listen, I wonder if it was a dummy because it looked like if it was a real person that took that fall, like that was a hard belly flop. Too.
It definitely that hurts. That hurts when you hit the water like that.
I couldn't tell if it was a dummy or not. If it was a real person, that was a hell of a belly flop.
I thought, man, I don't know. The guys playing cards, they're freaking with Hank. Hank was playing cards. He just the house bomb. I mean, that was Dennis Hopper in Speed style. That's
they're
what that was.
Just playing cards, man. It's not fair.
I don't know. And honestly, then sending a helicopter assault to a trailer, that was pretty brutal too. And they effed that place up. Wouldn't they have been better just like sending guys in at night, like sneak in? Like they made an incident out of it. I mean, talking about international incident. I mean, they sent in stealth helicopters. It was like a Bin Laden raid.
They know Riggs is dangerous, but I mean, had they done some intel, they would have known he was in the middle of a lovemaking marathon session. Yeah. They could have gotten him pretty easily.
I mean, dude, they could have just choked him out when he auto asphyxiation there. Maybe he would have enjoyed it more.
Instead of shooting at him, what if they just like dropped one, grenade on there or something, or one missile. I don't know, something, an explosive. I don't know. Either way, the plan's bad.
Yeah, it's more of an FU though to like just shoot the hell out of that place.
It's like, but they got everyone else, but they couldn't kill the two maniacs because the two maniacs. You're not going to kill maniacs in a showy way. Bomb on the toilet, helicopter to the trailer. It's just not going to happen.
They should have killed,
drown them with straight jackets. Yeah. Like you're not gonna kill maniacs that way. The other cops were regular cops.
Yeah, they should have killed Murtaugh in his sleep, and then they should have just strangled him before they threw him in the water with the straitjacket. I agree with you. Don't get creative with it; just do it.
Yeah.
So, having said that, what's his score for his plan?
Yeah, the plan's like a 2, I think, because
I think it's a real shit plan, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a
real
shit
bad.
plan. It's a good plan to have diplomatic immunity, but you can't make a show of it. You still have to play it on the down low.
You got to get away with it.
Yeah.
I agree. I think he did a bad job and he got way too cocky.
Yeah. Yeah, they had to abandon the plan very quickly and resort to just straight up terrorism and murder, which goes beyond diplomatic immunity.
I think definitely a 2. I would even borderline on a 1, but let's stick with the 2. We'll give it to him because he would have been successful. I mean, they had the money, they had it in the boat. It just blew up, and I thought Riggs blowing it up was a nice little thing there. But what about the sub boss? Because this guy Peter Vorstedt, like he could have been like a Pick Van Cleef when we're thinking about Hard Target. Like he had the potential. He was brutal and he was killing all these guys, but I feel like he fell short there. Like, I don't know. I thought he was really good as a sub boss, but he didn't get, I don't know. I kind of like these guys. And then you had a lot of mullet guys, but it was sort of like a Die Hard ripoff of some of these dudes. I don't know if you felt the same.
But they at least they stood out a bit as
they did.
Like I recognized them as different people. They weren't just faceless, bozos. But they still didn't do enough to stand out. I was thinking of 3 at the max.
I mean, they killed all the cops. So they were successful at planting a toilet bomb. So you got to give them that because that wasn't, that wasn't Rudd. So somebody planted the toilet bomb, which I'll give them creativity for that. You can say that somebody planted the bomb on the diving board and they blew up a house full of cops playing poker. So they were good enough to do that. So I feel like maybe a 2 or a 3. I'll let you have the executive decision.
But once they went head to head, they were slim. They were easy pickings, right?
That's true. That is true. So you want to go 2?
Kind of want a 2. I want to go 2. I don't want to give them credit.
Let's do 2. All right. So
we'll go 2.
All right. So I'm good with the 2. So if you recap this, so Arjun Rudd had a 2 for Liquor Style, a 5 for Hideout and Lair, a 2 for his plan, and a 2 for Henchman. So that puts him at an 11 out of 20. Not so great. And I think it works for him though. Because he's like middle of the pack.
Puts him in the middle. Puts him in the middle.
He's the middle of the pack guy. He's around Dusty Dinkelman and Beetlejuice is really and Patravita. And then Benjamin from Wayne's World. So that's the crop of villain that he's around. He's right below Hugo Snyder and Bennett from Commando, and right above Emotep. So and Al from Angels in the Outfield. So yeah, I think I don't know. We already talked enough about this movie. We probably talked way too long, but the ending. I mean, you heard it in the beginning with the clip. I just think that it was sort of an anticlimactic ending. Like it just ends, and that's kind of it. I don't know.
Yeah,
it was weird.
Don't you expect the end to be like in Murtaugh's house?
Yeah, and I think this is the only one that isn't.
Yeah, they're yucking it up, like, let's do something. Yeah, then maybe there's another commercial that the kid's in.
Yeah, that would have been funny.
It's even racier.
Yeah, like a Skinamax ad or something, like you said. I think that would have been good. They missed an opportunity there, but maybe it's because they shot that somber ending and they didn't use it. I don't know why, but I agree with you. It should have been. It should have been that way. So I don't know. So now, having said this, in the middle of summer of sequels, which do you think is a better movie, and which one did you like? I guess enjoy more. Maybe the better way to ask it is, if you're going to watch a Lethal Weapon 1 or 2, which one are you putting on?
Probably 1. I don't know, because I thought the story was better. It's a little darker, I thought, but at the same time, I thought I liked its jokes a little better. I would miss Joe Pesci. I thought he was a good addition to 2, and 2 is a good movie. Yeah. But I think I like 1. I like 1 a little better.
People say 2 is regarded as like one of the greatest sequels of all time. I don't know that I would agree with that. I really like this movie. I think it's very good.
It's a good movie.
I think the first one I like better.
I like the first one better. I don't know. That's just me.
What about 3? I know we didn't do 3. Maybe we'll do that for Summer Sequels Part 3.
I'm not sure I've seen 3. I've seen 4. 4's great. I don't know if I've seen 3.
Yeah.
Jet Li's in 4.
Both 3 and 4 are good, I think.
It's like the American debut of Jet Li.
I think so. He was in stuff, but I think that was his like big thing. The third one I think is movie. And Getz is in the third one quite a bit. So he's in a lot more. And I'm trying to think of the bad guy from the third one. I honestly don't remember. I think it was like a corrupt cop or something, or an arms dealer, I think. So, but we'll have to save that one. Maybe we could do it next year for Summer of Sequels Part 3. And then just so you know, I think this was a higher body count too. This one had 33 versus 26. according to Movie Body Counts, our friends at the moviebodycounts.com website. So, and then my favorite kills of all of them, the nail gun. I think that was probably the best one of everything.
Yep. That was foreshadowed. Yep.
Yeah, they had him doing it, and of course they had to show that. But overall, I had fun watching this one. I think it was good. I don't know that it was my favorite of all the sequels that we've done so far, but I did enjoy this. I haven't watched this one in quite a while. I think Die Hard is probably the best movie that we've done so far in the list, besides Bride of Chucky, I think. So, yeah, I'm curious what you guys think. If you have not seen this movie, go check it out. It's not on streaming right now, so you're gonna have to rent it as of August 2024. But it's definitely worth checking out if you enjoy these types of movies. We're in the middle of summer sequels, like you said, and we've said part 2. We're back on August 29th with Wayne's World 2, which I'm really looking forward to watching that one. So I'm looking forward to that one, and then also Crank High Voltage. But let us know what you think. TheLastRowPodcast.com. Leave a comment on the episode's page. Send us an email, TheLastRowPodcast@gmail.com. And follow us on all the social channels, X, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram @TheLastRowPod. And if you have not and you're new to the show, check us out, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Hit the subscribe button on wherever you get your podcasts. And if you're loving the show, please leave us a 5-star review. And on that note, we'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Woo! Just killed me, man. Taking the dump. Just kill me, dude. That's it. I already said it again. It's after dark now, so I can say what I really feel. But he did not wipe for 18 hours. Just let that sink in.
Let you muddle, man.
It's not coming off.
What do you do?
That's not part of him. That's what I was
power
saying.
wash that thing. Yeah.
There's no bidet in the world that's
give him that prison spray.